But the one question I want to have for Raider Jim, and it is a little interesting because he is a Raider fan, and we've mentioned it a few times. But I think Monday was the first time it was put right in front of our face. Tom Brady and possible collusion, possible insider, whatever, because the way it looks right now, you had Tom Brady Sunday in Kansas City watching the Eagles and Chiefs go at it. And then 24 hours later, he's not in the stadium. I think a lot of us expected, we'll see him in the owner's booth. He'll be sitting next to Mark Davis, blah, blah, blah. When they showed him in the coach's box with a headset on, looking like the most diabolical villain in any 90s movie you will ever see, I immediately went, whoa, hold on a second. This isn't what I expected to see. And now going forward, and the other part of this too, Fox essentially and the NFL kind of bent the rules. Last year, Tom Brady wasn't allowed in a lot of the production meetings, and Fox went, hey, he's our highest paid guy. He needs to be prepared. So the NFL said, okay, fine, we'll switch that rule up. Now, as an Eagle fan, no offense to the Raiders, I'm not too worried about it. But you look at this, he's already seen now the Chargers, now the Chiefs. He's going to be doing this next week. It's Dallas and Chicago, which is the Tom Brady game. And next week, the Raiders are going to be playing the Chicago Bears. So again, I don't want to put the tinfoil hat on before we even get into the games, but goodness gracious, it's calling to me. I'm just wondering what your thoughts are on it, Raider Jim. Brady being, so close to everything in that organization.
Yeah, if Al was around, everybody would be saying, boy, this is Al Davis 101. He's just doing whatever the hell he wants, and he don't care, and he's daring you to come at him. This is really just a matter, it seems to me, that everybody's turning a blind eye to this, and I don't know why. Now, it does take me back to the old ESPN 30 for 30 pony excess. When they talked about, back in the 80s when they got the death penalty for all the recruiting, because they were rolling up on everybody, and all of a sudden they had all these kids in. And when they interviewed Ron Myers, the coach, the one thing he said is, these other schools were doing the same thing. He says the difference was they couldn't even win. When you cheat and you can't win, you're not doing something right. And that's the thing. If the Raiders were starting to run the table, if they got down to 7-1, yeah, probably. But if they keep playing like this, I think everybody's just going to continue to put a blind eye to it, but shouldn't be allowed. It just shouldn't be allowed.
Yeah, and I've had people be like, Jerry Jones is super involved, blah, blah, blah. But Jerry Jones isn't in production meetings for the Commanders Eagles the week before.
Right.
Like, you're right. Owners, even the Irsay daughters, I don't know their names off the top of my head, but at least one of them is on the sideline with a headset on.
Yep.
But again, if you're an owner, you can essentially do whatever you want in the realm of the legality of the NFL. I did see a very interesting kind of theory. Again, grab my tinfoil hat. This one's a little more tongue in cheek, I would say, but there were some people saying that ESPN put him on blast to, look, he's a Fox commentator. So maybe there's a little undercut in there, because the reaction was palpable when they showed it. There were a lot of people that went, whoa, I knew this was happening, but to see it, it's a little tough. And then I fully agree with you about the cheating and losing, or not losing, but cheating and not being terribly successful. It's kind of my argument with the steroid era in baseball. More than likely, probably 50-60% of players in Major League Baseball were on steroids, but we only knew like 10 of their names because the other, 95% just were average baseball players.
We're hitting the ball.
Yeah. No one cares when you're average and cheating. We only care when you're good and cheating. So I do wonder. And then the other part of it too is these coaches aren't in the dark. Next week when Ben Johnson sits down in that production meeting, he's not giving everything he would to, say, a Joe Buck and Troy Aikman, because he knows this could potentially be used against me. So I think it will course correct, but you're right. I mean, the minute the Raiders pull off maybe a little bit of an upset or something like that, I do think people will start talking a little more ferociously. But yeah, for right now, I think everyone was like, oh, he's in the booth and that's what we saw. Again, no disrespect, but Monday night was a little tough. I don't think there were too many people worried, but I do think eventually this is going to come to a head. And I don't know. Unfortunately, the NFL versus Tom Brady, that's a rivalry that spanned decades. So might be looking at round 3 coming up here very, very soon.